Back then, marriage didn't mean love. Families would trade their daughters like they were part of a deal. No flowers, no music, just quiet rules. Ready to drift off to the strangest wedding you've never been to? Would Finley discover next? You wake to the soft chiming of the village church bells, drifting through your window like whispered prayers. The morning light filters gently through the oiled parchment that covers your small window, casting warm, golden patterns across the rough-hewn wooden floor of your family's cottage. Your mother moves quietly in the kitchen below, her wooden spoons stirring porridge made from barley and oats. The familiar scent of herbs, rosemary and thyme, rises from the hearth where she tends the morning fire. You breathe deeply, feeling the comfort of home, the safety of routine. Today is different, though. Today, you begin to understand the sacred traditions that bind your village together. The traditions of marriage, of union, of becoming one family from two. Your feet touch the cool stone floor, and you dress slowly in your simple woolen kirtle. The fabric is rough, but warm, dyed with madder root to create a soft, earthen red. You fasten your leather belt, feeling the weight of the small eating knife that hangs there, a reminder of your growing responsibilities. Downstairs, your mother hums an old melody, one her mother taught her, and her mother before that. The song speaks of love, of patience, of the long journey two souls take to find each other. You listen, letting the ancient words wash over you like a gentle stream. "Come, child," your mother says softly, her voice carrying the wisdom of generations. Today we speak of the sacred bonds, the traditions that have guided our people since time began. You sit beside her at the rough wooden table, feeling the worn smoothness of the wood beneath your palms. The table was carved by your grandfather, his hands shaping each curve with love and care. Your mother places a bowl of warm porridge before you, sweetened with honey from the village bees. "Marriage," she begins, her voice soft as morning mist, "is not a simple thing in our village. It is a weaving, thread by thread, life by life, until two become one in the eyes of God and community." You eat slowly, savoring each spoonful as she speaks of the old ways. In your village, marriage begins not with passion, but with careful consideration. Families watch and wait and pray for the right matches to reveal themselves. The church teaches us, your mother continues, that marriage is a sacrament blessed by God Himself. But our village, our people, they know it is also practical. Two families joining, two hearts becoming one, two sets of hands to work the land. Through the window, you can see the village stirring to life. Smoke rises from chimneys, creating soft gray ribbons against the pale sky. Children's voices drift on the morning air, high and sweet, mixed with the lowing of cattle and the gentle bleating of sheep. Your mother's hands, worn smooth by years of labor, wrap around her wooden cup of barley water. "In the time of your grandmother's grandmother," she says, "marriages were arranged when children were very young. Sometimes, before they could even walk." You imagine tiny hands, reaching for each other, not knowing they were already promised. The thought is both strange and somehow comforting. To have your path chosen, your future secured, long before worry could take root. "But now," your mother continues, The church allows more choice. Young people may express their feelings, their preferences, though families still must agree, and the church must bless the union. The morning light grows stronger, warming the cottage walls. You can hear the village coming alive. The sound of wooden wheels on cobblestones, the call of the baker announcing fresh bread, the gentle splash of water as women fill their jugs at the well. "Tell me about the traditions," you whisper, your voice barely audible above the crackling fire. Your mother smiles, her eyes soft with memory. "There are many traditions, child, some older than the church itself. When a young man wishes to court a maiden, he must first approach her father. This is done with great ceremony, with respect." She pauses, sipping her barley water, letting the words settle in your mind like seeds in fertile soil. The young man brings gifts, not expensive things, but meaningful ones. Perhaps a wooden comb he has carved, or a simple cross made from apple wood. He speaks of his intentions, his ability to provide, his character. You close your eyes, imagining the nervous young man standing before a father, his hands trembling slightly as he offers his humble gifts. The weight of tradition, of custom, of hope, all resting on his shoulders. "If the father is pleased," your mother continues, "then the courtship may begin. But it is slow, child, very slow, like the growing of wheat or the changing of seasons." Outside, the village bell tower chimes again, marking the hour. The sound is deep, resonant, vibrating through the stone and wood and earth. You feel it in your chest, in your bones, a reminder of the steady passage of time. "Courtship in our village," your mother explains, "follows the rhythm of the seasons. In spring, when the earth awakens, young people may walk together, always with a chaperone. They speak of simple things, their families, their faith, their hopes. You imagine couples walking slowly through the village lanes, their steps measured and careful. A grandmother following at a respectful distance, her eyes watchful but kind. The young people speaking softly, their words carried away by the gentle breeze. "Summer brings the festivals," your mother continues, "when courtship becomes more visible. The Feast of St. John, with its bonfires and dancing. Young men may offer flowers, wild flowers picked from the meadows, to the maidens they admire. The image fills your mind. Couples dancing in the firelight, their movements slow and graceful, surrounded by the entire village. The music, played on simple wooden flutes and drums, creating a rhythm that matches the beating of hearts. But autumn, your mother's voice grows softer. Autumn is when serious intentions are declared, when families meet to discuss, to negotiate, to plan. You think of autumn, of harvest time, when the work is hardest, but the rewards are greatest. The perfect time for two families to come together, to share their hopes and concerns, to weave their lives together like threads in a tapestry. Your mother rises, moving to the small wooden chest where she keeps her most precious possessions. She returns with a piece of cloth, soft and white, embroidered with delicate flowers in blue thread. "This was my bridal veil," she says, her voice filled with reverence, "and my mother's before me. Each bride in our family has worn it, adding her own stitches, her own prayers." You touch the fabric gently, feeling the history in every thread. The countless hours spent by candlelight, fingers working carefully, creating beauty from simple materials. Each stitch a prayer, a hope, a blessing for the future. The wedding traditions, your mother continues, are as old as the village itself. The banns must be called, announced in church for 3 Sundays, so all may know of the intended union. You imagine the priest, his voice echoing through the small stone church, calling out the names of couples who wish to marry. The congregation listening, considering, offering their silent blessings or concerns. Then comes the blessing of the rings, your mother says. Simple bands of iron, blessed by the priest and exchanged before God and witnesses. Iron rings, not gold or silver, but strong and lasting, forged by the village blacksmith, hammered with care and blessed with prayer. Symbols of a union that will endure, like iron itself, through all seasons and trials. The morning continues to unfold, and your mother shares more traditions. The wedding feast, prepared by the entire village, with each family contributing what they can. Bread and ale, roasted meat and vegetables from the gardens, honey cakes and preserved fruits, music and dancing, she says, continue until dawn. The bride and groom, seated at the head of the great table, accepting the good wishes of their community. You can almost hear the music, the laughter, the clinking of wooden cups raised in celebration. The warmth of the great hall, filled with neighbors and friends, all united in joy for the new couple. But the most important tradition, your mother concludes, is the blessing. The priest blesses the union, but so does the community. Each person offers their prayers, their support, their promise to help the new family thrive. The sun climbs higher, casting longer shadows through the cottage. The morning chores call, but you sit quietly, letting the traditions settle in your heart. The careful courtship, the family negotiations, the community celebration, all part of the sacred journey from single to married life. Your mother begins to clear the table, her movements gentle and efficient. Rest now, she says softly. Let these thoughts bring you peace. Marriage is a blessing, a gift from God, but it requires patience, understanding, and time. You close your eyes, feeling the warmth of the fire on your face, the comfort of tradition surrounding you like a soft blanket. The village sounds continue outside, the gentle rhythm of daily life, the eternal dance of seasons and celebrations. Your breathing grows deeper, slower, as you imagine the generations of brides and grooms who have walked this path before you. Their hopes, their fears, their joy, all woven into the fabric of village life. The traditions feel like a lullaby, ancient and comforting, guiding you toward dreams of love and community. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the morning light grows soft and golden. You drift into a peaceful, restful sleep. You wake to the gentle sound of rain against the cottage walls. Soft droplets creating a rhythm like whispered secrets. The autumn air carries the scent of wood smoke and the earthy smell of wet leaves drifting through the small gaps around your window. Your mother moves quietly below, preparing the morning meal, her footsteps careful on the wooden floor. The familiar sounds of home, the crackling fire, the soft clink of wooden bowls create a symphony of comfort and peace. Today, you will learn about courtship, about the slow and careful dance between two hearts seeking to become one. The process is as delicate as spider silk, as patient as the growing seasons, as sacred as prayer itself. You dress slowly, feeling the soft wool of your kirtle against your skin. The fabric has been washed with lavender, a luxury in your village, but one that your mother saves for special occasions. Today feels special, filled with the promise of understanding, of wisdom passed from generation to generation. Downstairs, your mother has prepared a simple breakfast: oat porridge sweetened with preserved apples and weak ale warmed by the fire. The wooden bowls are smooth from years of use, worn by countless hands, countless meals, countless conversations just like this one. "Come, child," your mother says, her voice soft as morning mist. "Today we speak of courtship, of the careful steps two souls take toward each other." You sit beside her, feeling the familiar comfort of the wooden bench. Through the window, you can see the village marketplace, already busy despite the early hour. Farmers bringing their goods, merchants arranging their wares, children playing in the puddles left by the rain. Courtship, your mother begins, is not a simple thing. It is a dance, with steps that must be learned, rules that must be followed, and patience that must be cultivated like a garden. She pauses, sipping her warm ale, her eyes distant with memory. "When I was your age, courtship was even more formal, more careful. Every glance, every word, every gesture was watched by the entire village." You imagine young couples walking slowly through the village streets, their movements measured and proper, surrounded by the curious eyes of neighbors and family. The weight of tradition, of expectation, resting on their shoulders like a heavy cloak. The first step, your mother continues, is the approach. A young man cannot simply speak to a maiden, cannot simply declare his intentions. He must first gain permission from her father, from her family. Through the window, you watch a young man, perhaps 17 or 18, walking nervously toward one of the larger cottages. His best tunic, carefully mended, his hair combed and clean. In his hands, a small wooden cross, carved with intricate patterns. "See how he walks," your mother observes, following your gaze. Slowly, respectfully. He knows the importance of this moment, the weight of tradition that guides his steps. The young man stops at the cottage door, straightening his shoulders, taking a deep breath. He knocks, 3 gentle taps, and waits. Patience, you realize, is the first lesson of courtship. If the father agrees to hear him, your mother explains, the young man must present his case. He speaks of his family, his trade, his ability to provide for a wife. He offers small gifts, tokens of respect, not wealth, but thoughtfulness. You watch as the cottage door opens, revealing a stern-faced man, the father of the family. The young man bows, offering his carved cross, speaking words too quiet to hear from your window. The father listens, his expression serious, considering. This conversation, your mother says, may happen many times. The father will speak with his wife, with his family, with the village elders. They will consider the young man's character, his prospects, his faith. The scene at the cottage continues. The young man standing patiently, his hands folded, his eyes respectful. The father asks questions. The young man responds. The slow dance of negotiation and consideration unfolds. If the father gives his consent, your mother continues, then the courtship may begin. But it is not immediate. There is a period of waiting, of preparation, of prayer. You imagine the young man walking home, his heart light with hope or heavy with disappointment. The uncertain days that follow, waiting for word, for permission, for the chance to speak with the maiden he admires. The first meeting, your mother explains, is formal. The young man may speak with the maiden, but only in the presence of her family. They sit in the main room with her parents, perhaps her grandmother, watching and listening. The image forms in your mind. The young couple sitting stiffly, their hands folded in their laps, speaking quietly about simple things. The weather, the harvest, their families, their faith. Nothing personal, nothing intimate. Just the careful building of acquaintance. These meetings, your mother continues, happen once a week, perhaps twice, always at the same time, always with the same formality. The young people learn to speak with each other, to share their thoughts, their hopes. You can almost feel the nervous energy, the careful words, the stolen glances when the parents aren't watching. The slow growth of familiarity, like a flower opening to the sun, petal by petal, day by day. After several weeks, your mother says, if both families are pleased, the young people may walk together, but never alone, always with a chaperone, always on approved paths through the village. Through the window, you see such a couple now, walking slowly along the village lane. A young woman, perhaps 20, her hair covered with a simple white veil. Beside her, a young man, his hands behind his back, speaking earnestly about something you cannot hear. Behind them, at a respectful distance, walks an older woman, the maiden's aunt perhaps, or grandmother. Her presence, watchful but not intrusive, ensures propriety while allowing the young couple to speak more freely. These walks, your mother explains, are treasured by the young people. They may speak of their dreams, their fears, their understanding of marriage and family. They begin to know each other's minds, their hearts. You imagine the conversations, soft and careful, shared as they walk past the village pond, or through the market square, or along the path to the church. The gradual revelation of personality, of character, of compatibility. The seasons guide the courtship. Your mother continues. Spring walks give way to summer festivals, where couples may dance together, under the watchful eyes of the community. You remember the summer festivals, the music and dancing, the young couples moving carefully through the traditional steps, the joy, but also the formality, the sense that each dance, each shared moment is being observed and judged. By autumn, your mother says, if the courtship is successful, the young man may ask for the maiden's hand. This is done formally, with both families present, with prayers and ceremony. The formal request, you imagine, would be as nerve-wracking as the first approach. The young man, standing before both families, declaring his intentions, his love, his commitment to provide and protect. If the maiden accepts, your mother continues, then the betrothal begins. This is a sacred time, a period of preparation for marriage. The banns are called, the community is informed, the wedding preparations begin. But even betrothal, you learn, is not simple. There are contracts to negotiate, dowries to arrange, wedding plans to make. The couple, now promised to each other, must continue to court, to prepare for their life together. The betrothal period, your mother explains, may last months, sometimes a year or more. The young people continue to meet, to walk together, to learn about each other. But they also prepare practically for the responsibilities of marriage. You imagine the maiden learning household skills from her mother, preparing linens, gathering the items she will need for her new home. The young man working harder than ever, saving money, preparing to support a wife and eventual children. During this time, your mother says, the couple may exchange small gifts, a wooden comb, a simple cross, a piece of embroidered cloth. Nothing expensive, but meaningful, tokens of affection and commitment. The gifts, you realize, are chosen carefully, made by hand, blessed with prayer. Each one a promise, a hope, a step toward the sacred union of marriage. The courtship continues, your mother explains. Even after betrothal, the couple learns to work together, to plan together, to pray together. They visit each other's families, participate in each other's daily lives. You can see the wisdom in this, the careful building of relationship, the gradual interweaving of two lives. No sudden passion, no rash decisions, but a slow and steady growth of love and commitment. Sometimes, your mother admits, courtships end. The young people discover they are not well suited, or circumstances change, or families disagree. This is sad, but not shameful. Better to end a courtship than to enter an unhappy marriage. The reality of this possibility, you realize, makes successful courtships even more precious. The careful process, the patient waiting, the gradual building of relationship, all designed to ensure that marriages are built on solid foundations. But when courtship succeeds, your mother continues, when two hearts truly join, when families unite in blessing, then the wedding preparations begin in earnest. The couple has earned their joy through patience, through virtue, through the blessing of God and community. Outside, the rain continues to fall gently, creating a peaceful rhythm against the cottage walls. The village sounds are muffled, softened, as if the world itself is speaking in whispers. Your mother rises, beginning to clear the simple breakfast dishes. Rest now, she says softly. Let these thoughts of courtship bring you peace. Love, true love, is worth waiting for, worth the careful steps and patient preparations. You close your eyes, feeling the warmth of the fire, the comfort of your mother's wisdom. The image of courtship, slow and careful, fills your mind like a gentle stream. The nervous young man, the formal meetings, the chaperoned walks, all part of the sacred dance toward marriage. Your breathing grows deeper, slower, as you imagine the generations of couples who have walked this path. Their patience, their virtue, their careful building of love, all woven into the fabric of village life. The rain continues its gentle rhythm, like a lullaby, ancient and comforting. The courtship process, with all its formality and patience, seems like a blessing, a gift of wisdom from those who came before. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the fire's warmth seems to wrap around you like a soft blanket. You drift into a peaceful, restful sleep. You wake to the gentle sound of voices, soft and familiar, drifting up from the cottage below. Your mother, speaking quietly with your aunt, their words creating a peaceful murmur, like water flowing over smooth stones. The morning light filters through your small window, casting warm, golden patterns across the wooden floor. Outside, the village is stirring, smoke rising from chimneys, creating soft ribbons against the pale autumn sky. You dress slowly, feeling the comfort of your woolen kirtle, warm and soft against your skin. The fabric has been dyed with woad, creating a gentle blue color, like the sky just before dawn. Your mother wove this cloth herself, her hands working the loom through long winter evenings. Downstairs, you find your mother and aunt sitting at the wooden table, sharing a simple breakfast of bread and weak ale. Between them, spread across the rough wooden surface, are pieces of linen, carefully embroidered with flowers and vines. "Good morning, child," your aunt says, her voice warm and welcoming. She's your mother's sister, unmarried, but wise in the ways of families and marriage. "We were just discussing the importance of families. In the sacred bond of marriage." You sit beside them, accepting a piece of bread, still warm from the hearth. The bread is coarse, made from barley and rye, but it tastes of home, of security, of the careful work that sustains life. Marriage, your mother begins, is never just between two people. It is between two families, two lineages, two ways of life coming together as one. Your aunt nods, her fingers tracing the embroidered flowers on the linen. When a young man seeks a wife, he seeks not just a companion, but a connection to her family, her traditions, her skills and knowledge. Through the window, you can see the baker's son, perhaps 19, walking carefully toward the weaver's cottage. His steps are measured, purposeful, and you realize he is preparing to approach a family, to request permission to court their daughter. See how he walks, your mother observes, following your gaze. He knows that he approaches not just a maiden, but her entire family. Her parents, her grandparents, her aunts and uncles, all must be considered. The young man stops at the cottage door, straightening his shoulders, smoothing his tunic. In his hands, he carries a small wooden box, carefully carved, a gift for the family he hopes to join. The family's role, your aunt explains, begins long before courtship. Parents watch their children, observe their character, their strengths, their needs. They consider what kind of marriage, what kind of partner would bring their child happiness. You imagine parents sitting by their hearth in the evening, discussing their children's futures. The careful consideration, the prayers, the hope that their children will find love and security in marriage. When a young man approaches, your mother continues, the father's first concern is not romance, but provision. Can this young man support a wife? Can he provide a home, food, security? The cottage door opens, revealing the weaver, a stern but fair man, known throughout the village for his skilled work. He listens as the baker's son speaks, his expression serious, considering. The father asks questions, your aunt explains, about the young man's trade, his income, his prospects. He wants to know that his daughter will not face poverty, that she will have a secure home. You can almost hear the questions, careful and thorough, as the father evaluates the young man's ability to provide. The discussion of trade, of income, of the practical realities of married life. But provision is not everything, your mother adds. The father also considers character. Is the young man honest? Is he faithful? Does he honor his parents? Does he attend church regularly? The weaver, you notice, is asking many questions, listening carefully to each answer. The baker's son responds respectfully, his voice steady, his manner sincere. The weight of family judgment, of communal evaluation, rests on his shoulders. If the father is satisfied, your aunt continues. Then the mother's role begins. She considers the young man's family, their reputation, their standing in the community. The mother's evaluation, you realize, is equally important. She knows that her daughter will not just marry a man, but join his family, become part of his household, his traditions, his way of life. The mother asks about the young man's mother. Your mother explains. Will she be kind to a new daughter-in-law? Will she teach her the family's ways? Will she help her learn to manage the household? You imagine the careful conversations, mother to mother, as they discuss the joining of their families, the hopes, the concerns, the practical details of how two households will become one. Both families, your aunt says, must consider the children that may come. Will the young couple be able to provide for children? Will they raise them in the faith? Will they teach them the skills they need to survive? The responsibility is overwhelming, you realize, but also comforting. The decision is not left to young people alone, but shared by the wisdom of families, the experience of generations. If both families agree, your mother continues, then the courtship may begin. But the family's role does not end. It continues throughout the entire process. You watch as the weaver, after much discussion, invites the baker's son inside. The first hurdle, the initial permission, has been granted. But this is just the beginning of the family's involvement. During courtship, your aunt explains, the families observe carefully. They watch how the young couple treats each other, how they behave in public, how they prepare for marriage. The observation, you realize, is not intrusive, but protective. The families want to ensure that the match is good, that both young people are happy, that the courtship is proceeding properly. The mothers, your mother says, have special responsibilities. They guide their children, teach them about marriage, prepare them for the realities of wedded life. You imagine mothers sitting with their daughters, sharing the wisdom of generations, the practical advice, the emotional support, the careful preparation for the sacred responsibilities of marriage. The fathers, your aunt adds, negotiate the practical matters, the dowry, the wedding expenses, the arrangements for the new household. The negotiations, you learn, are complex and delicate. Each family wants the best for their child, but must also consider their own resources, their own needs, their own future security. The dowry, your mother explains, is not just money or goods. It is the family's investment in their daughter's future. Their way of ensuring she enters marriage with dignity and security. You think of the linen spread across the table, the careful embroidery, the hours of work that have gone into each piece. This is part of a dowry, a mother's gift to her daughter, a blessing for her future home. The young woman's family, your aunt continues, provides household goods, linens, tools, perhaps a cow or goat. These things help the new couple establish their home, begin their married life. The practical nature of the dowry, you realize, reflects the practical nature of marriage itself. Love is important, but so is survival, security, the ability to maintain a household and raise children. The young man's family, your mother says, provides the home, the household structure, the means of support. They welcome the bride, teach her their ways, help her become part of their family. The joining of families, you see, is literal and complete. The bride, leaving her father's house, becomes part of her husband's family, while maintaining connections to her own. Both families, your aunt explains, share the wedding expenses, the food, the ale, the music, the celebration. It is a community event, supported by the entire extended family. You imagine the preparations, the careful planning, the coordination between families as they arrange for the wedding feast. The sharing of costs, of responsibilities, of joy. After the wedding, your mother continues, the families continue to support the new couple. They offer advice, help with difficulties, provide assistance when children are born. The support, you realize, is lifelong. Marriage does not separate families, but joins them, creates new connections, new responsibilities, new sources of strength and security. Sometimes, your aunt admits, families disagree about the match, about the arrangements, about the future. These disagreements must be resolved through discussion, through compromise, through the wisdom of elders. The potential for conflict, you understand, is real, but so is the commitment to work through difficulties, to find solutions, to ensure that marriages are built on solid foundations. The village elders, your mother explains, sometimes help resolve family disputes. They offer wisdom, perspective, the experience of many marriages, many families. The community support, you see, extends beyond immediate families. The entire village, with its traditions and wisdom, participates in the creation of new marriages, new families. When families work together, your aunt concludes, when they share their wisdom and resources, when they support the young couple with love and guidance, then marriages thrive. The sun climbs higher, warming the cottage walls. The village sounds, the gentle activity of daily life, continue outside. But inside, the conversation about families, about their crucial role in marriage, creates a sense of warmth and security. Your mother begins to fold the embroidered linens, her movements careful and reverent. Rest now, she says softly. Let these thoughts of family support bring you peace. Marriage is not a journey taken alone, but with the blessing and guidance of those who love us. You close your eyes, feeling the comfort of family around you. The careful preparations, the wise guidance, the loving support, all part of the sacred process of creating new families, new bonds of love and commitment. Your breathing grows deeper, slower, as you imagine the generations of families who have guided their children toward marriage. Their wisdom, their sacrifice, their love, all woven into the fabric of village life. The morning light grows soft and golden, filtering through the cottage windows like a blessing. The role of families, with all its complexity and care, seems like a gift, a source of strength and security. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the sounds of family conversation fade to a gentle murmur. You drift into a peaceful, restful sleep. You wake to the soft sound of your mother, working quietly at her loom. The gentle rhythm of the shuttle passing back and forth, creating a peaceful, meditative sound. The autumn morning is cool, and you can hear the distant lowing of cattle, the soft bleating of sheep, the eternal sounds of village life. Through your small window, you can see the golden light of dawn, filtering through the bare branches of the oak tree that stands beside your cottage. The leaves have fallen, creating a carpet of brown and gold, rustling softly in the morning breeze. You dress slowly, feeling the familiar comfort of your woolen kirtle, mended carefully in several places, but clean and warm. The fabric, once a deep blue, has faded to a gentler shade, like the sky at twilight. Your mother wove this cloth, her hands working late into the night, creating something beautiful from simple materials. Downstairs, you find your mother at her loom, her fingers moving skillfully through the threads. The cloth she is weaving is fine, finer than usual, and you realize she's working on something special, something important. "Good morning, child," she says, her voice soft and warm. "I have been thinking about the practical matters of marriage, about the dowry, about the financial challenges that families face." You sit beside her, watching as she works. The threads, carefully arranged, slowly become cloth, inch by inch, day by day. The patience required, the skill, the dedication, all remind you of marriage itself. This cloth, your mother explains, is part of a dowry for the baker's daughter, who will marry the blacksmith's son in the spring. Her family has been saving, preparing for many years. The realization dawns on you, the careful planning, the years of preparation, the sacrifice involved in providing a proper dowry. Every family in the village, you understand, faces these same challenges. The dowry, your mother continues, is one of the most difficult aspects of marriage. It requires careful saving, planning, sometimes sacrifice from the entire family. Through the window, you can see the baker's wife walking toward the market, her steps heavy with worry. In her hands, she carries a small wooden box, perhaps containing coins she has saved, penny by penny, for her daughter's future. For a peasant family like ours, your mother explains, providing a dowry is challenging. We must save for years, sometimes generations, to ensure our daughters can marry with dignity. The weight of this responsibility, you realize, falls on every family. Parents working extra hours, selling precious possessions, denying themselves small luxuries, all to provide for their children's future. The dowry, your mother says, includes many things: household goods, linens, tools, perhaps a small amount of money. Each item carefully chosen, carefully prepared. You think of the linen chest in your mother's room, filled with items she has been collecting since you were born. Embroidered cloths, wooden bowls, iron pots, all the things a young woman needs to establish her household. The linens, your mother continues, take the longest to prepare. Each piece must be woven, sewn, embroidered by hand. The work takes months, sometimes years. The hours involved, you realize, are staggering. Winter evenings spent by candlelight, fingers working carefully, creating beauty and utility from simple materials. The love, the hope, the prayer woven into every thread. Your grandmother, your mother says, began preparing your dowry before you could walk. She planted flax, spun thread, began the long process of creating what you would need. The continuity, the generational effort touches your heart. 3 generations of women working together, planning together, sacrificing together for your future happiness and security. The flax, your mother explains, must be planted, harvested, processed, spun into thread. The work is long and difficult, but necessary. Linen is precious, valuable, essential for a proper dowry. You imagine the fields of flax growing slowly through the summer. Their blue flowers creating a carpet of color. The harvest, the processing, the spinning, all part of the long journey from seed to wedding gift. The animals, your mother continues, are also part of the dowry. A cow, a goat, chickens. These provide security, sustenance, a way for the new couple to survive, to thrive. You think of the family cow, grazing peacefully in the small field behind your cottage. She provides milk, cheese, butter, all the things that make life possible. To give her away as part of a dowry would be a significant sacrifice. Sometimes, your mother admits, families must choose between keeping animals for their own survival or providing them for their daughter's dowry. The choice is difficult but necessary. The harsh reality, you understand, is that dowries often require families to give up things they need, to sacrifice their own comfort for their children's future. The love, the devotion, the selflessness, all part of the sacred duty of parents. The money, your mother continues, is perhaps the most difficult part. Coins are scarce, precious. Each penny must be earned, saved, protected. Through the window, you see the miller's wife, walking toward the church, her face drawn with worry. You know her daughter is of marriageable age, and the family has struggled to save the necessary coins for her dowry. Your father, your mother says, works extra hours, takes on additional tasks to earn the coins we need. He mends tools, builds furniture, does whatever work he can find. The sacrifice, you realize, extends to every member of the family. Fathers, working until their hands are raw, their backs aching, their eyes strained from working by candlelight, all for their daughters' futures. The wooden items, your mother explains, are often made by the family. Bowls, spoons, furniture. Your father spends his evenings carving, shaping, creating. You remember the sound of your father's knife, scraping against wood, the soft shavings curling away as he worked late into the night. Each bowl, each spoon, each piece of furniture, shaped with love and prayer. The iron goods, your mother continues, must be purchased from the blacksmith. Pots, knives, tools. These are expensive, but necessary. The blacksmith understands, allows families to pay slowly over time. The blacksmith's kindness, you realize, is crucial to the village. His willingness to accept payment over months, even years, makes it possible for families to provide proper dowries for their daughters. Some families, your mother admits, struggle more than others. The widow, with many daughters, the farmer, whose crops have failed, the craftsman, whose skills are no longer needed. The inequality, the unfairness, weighs heavily on your heart. Some families, through no fault of their own, face impossible choices. Some daughters may never marry simply because their families cannot afford the dowry. The church, your mother says, sometimes helps. Father Benedict coordinates assistance for families in need. The more fortunate share with those who have less. The community support, you understand, is essential. Neighbors helping neighbors, sharing resources, ensuring that every daughter has the chance for marriage and happiness. The Christian duty of charity, of love, put into practice. Your aunt, your mother continues, who never married, has contributed to many dowries. Her skills, her savings, her devotion, all shared with the young women of our village. The unmarried women, you realize, play a crucial role. Their resources, their time, their expertise, all devoted to helping the next generation. Their sacrifice, their love, woven into the fabric of village life. The negotiations, your mother explains, can be delicate. Families must agree on the value of the dowry, on what is fair, what is possible. You imagine the careful discussions, families sitting around wooden tables, lists of goods spread before them, calculating, negotiating, trying to reach agreement. The tension, the hope, the fear, all part of the process. Sometimes, your mother admits, negotiations fail. The dowry is deemed insufficient. The match is called off. The disappointment is heartbreaking, but better than an unhappy marriage. The reality of failed negotiations, understand, is devastating. Years of preparation, of saving, of hoping, all for nothing. The young woman left without prospects. The family forced to start over. But when negotiations succeed, your mother continues, when families reach agreement, when the dowry is accepted, then the real work begins. The final preparations, the gathering of items, the careful packing. The successful negotiation, you realize, is just the beginning. The months that follow are filled with frantic activity, final preparations, last-minute additions to the dowry. The dowry chest, your mother explains, is itself a work of art. Carved, decorated, blessed, it will hold the most precious items, the symbols of hope for the new marriage. You imagine the craftsman working carefully, creating a chest that will last generations. The wood, selected for its beauty and durability. The carvings, telling stories of love and hope. The blessing, making it sacred. The day before the wedding, your mother continues, the dowry is displayed for the entire village to see. Each item carefully arranged, a testament to the family's love, their sacrifice, their hopes. The public display, you understand, is both celebration and validation. The community witnessing the family's efforts, offering their approval, their blessings, their support. The bride's family, your mother explains, feels both pride and anxiety. Pride in what they have accomplished, anxiety about whether it is enough, whether it will be accepted. The mixed emotions, you realize, are natural. The years of work, the sacrifice, the hope, all culminating in this moment of public judgment. The fear that despite everything, it might not be enough. The groom's family, your mother continues, examines each item, evaluates its quality, its value, its usefulness. They must be satisfied that the dowry is appropriate, fair, adequate. The evaluation, you understand, is crucial. The groom's family accepting not just the dowry, but the bride herself into their household, their family, their future. When the dowry is accepted, your mother says, both families breathe a sigh of relief. The long process, the careful preparation, the patient saving, all validated, blessed, completed. The acceptance, you realize, is more than financial. It is acceptance of the bride, of the marriage, of the joining of two families. The dowry, symbol of love, of sacrifice, of hope for the future. The dowry, your mother concludes, represents more than money, more than goods. It represents the family's love, their investment in their daughter's happiness, their hope for her future. The sun climbs higher, warming the cottage walls. The sound of the loom, the gentle rhythm of creation, continues in the background. The village sounds, the eternal rhythm of daily life, drift through the windows. Your mother's hands continue their work. The shuttle passing back and forth, creating cloth, creating beauty, creating hope. The dowry, with all its challenges, its sacrifices, its love, seems like a sacred offering. Rest now, your mother says softly. Let these thoughts of family sacrifice bring you peace. The dowry, difficult as it is, represents the deepest love, the greatest hope parents can offer their children. You close your eyes, feeling the warmth of the morning sun, the comfort of family love. The dowry, with all its complexity, its challenges, its sacrifices, seems like a blessing, a gift of love from generation to generation. Your breathing grows deeper, slower, as you imagine the countless families who have made these sacrifices. Their love, their dedication, their hope, all woven into the fabric of village life. The sound of the loom, the gentle rhythm of creation, fades to a peaceful whisper. The dowry, with all its difficulties, seems like a lullaby, ancient and comforting, guiding you toward dreams of love and security. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the morning light grows soft and golden. You drift into a peaceful, restful sleep. You wake to the soft sound of church bells ringing across the village, their bronze voices calling the faithful to evening prayer. The autumn day has faded, and through your small window, you can see the first stars appearing, like tiny candles in the darkening sky. Your mother moves quietly below, lighting the evening candles, their warm glow casting gentle shadows on the cottage walls. The familiar sounds of home, the crackling fire, the soft rustle of her woolen skirts, create a symphony of comfort and peace. Tonight, you will learn about the wedding night, the sacred moment when two become one, when the long journey of courtship, negotiation, and preparation finally reaches its destination. The darkness, far from being frightening, becomes a blessing, a gentle veil over the most intimate moments of human connection. You dress in your warmest kirtle, the one your mother embroidered with small flowers, daisies and roses worked in silk thread, saved for special occasions. The fabric, soft and worn, carries the scent of lavender, of home, of the generations of women who have worn it before you. Downstairs, your mother has prepared a simple evening meal, barley soup with herbs from the garden, bread baked that morning, and weak ale warmed by the fire. The wooden bowls, polished smooth by years of use, reflect the candlelight, creating pools of warm, golden light. "Come, child," your mother says, her voice soft as twilight. "Tonight, we speak of the wedding night, of the sacred moment when husband and wife become truly one." You sit beside her, feeling the familiar comfort of the wooden bench. Through the window, you can see lights beginning to appear in cottage windows, families gathering for their evening meals, the village settling into the peaceful rhythm of night. The wedding night, your mother begins, is both ending and beginning. The end of the long courtship, the beginning of married life. It is sacred, blessed, but also very human. The duality, you understand, is important. The wedding night, both spiritual and physical, both celebration and responsibility, both joy and nervousness. The darkness, providing privacy, intimacy, protection for the most vulnerable moments. After the wedding feast, your mother continues. After the dancing and celebration, the couple is escorted to their chamber. The entire village participates in this ritual, this blessing of the marriage bed. You imagine the procession, the bride and groom, surrounded by family and friends, walking slowly through the village streets. Candles held high, creating pools of light in the darkness. Songs, ancient and sacred, accompanying their steps. The chamber, your mother explains, has been prepared with care. The bed, blessed by the priest, covered with the finest linens, the dowry linens, worked by the bride's own hands. The preparation, you realize, is as important as the ceremony itself. The room, cleaned and blessed. The bed, made with special linens. The space, transformed into something sacred, something set apart. The women of both families, your mother continues, participate in the preparation. They sprinkle herbs, rosemary for remembrance, lavender for peace, thyme for courage, creating a blessing, a protection for the new couple. The herbs, you understand, are more than decoration. They are prayers, hopes, blessings, woven into the very air the couple will breathe. The women, sharing their wisdom, their protection, their love. The bride, your mother says, is helped to prepare by her mother, her sisters, her closest friends. They help her, from her wedding dress into her night shift, simple, pure, white as snow. The preparation, you imagine, is tender, careful, filled with whispered advice, gentle touches, the last moments of maidenhood, surrounded by the love of other women. The groom, your mother continues, is prepared by his father, his brothers, his friends. They speak to him of his responsibilities, his duties, his privileges as a husband. The parallel preparation, you realize, is important. Both bride and groom receiving guidance, support, blessing from their respective families. The community ensuring that both are ready, prepared, blessed. When the couple is ready, your mother explains, they are blessed again by the priest, by their families, by the entire community. Then they are left alone in the darkness to begin their married life. The blessing, you understand, is crucial. The community formally recognizing the change, the new relationship, the sacred bond that has been created. The darkness providing privacy, intimacy, protection. The darkness, your mother says, is not something to fear. It is a blessing, a gift, allowing the couple privacy, intimacy, the chance to know each other as husband and wife. The darkness, you realize, is protective. It hides nervousness, uncertainty, the awkwardness of new intimacy. It allows the couple to move slowly, carefully, gently into their new relationship. The bride, your mother continues, may be frightened, nervous, uncertain. This is natural, expected, understood. The darkness helps her feel safe, protected, less exposed. The vulnerability, you understand, is real. The bride leaving her family, her childhood, her previous life to join with a man in the most intimate way possible. The darkness providing comfort, security, protection. The groom, your mother says, also feels the weight of responsibility, of expectation. He must be gentle, patient, understanding. The darkness helps him be less self-conscious, more natural. The mutual vulnerability, you realize, is important. Both bride and groom, nervous, uncertain, finding their way together in the gentle darkness. The night providing a soft, forgiving, protective environment. The physical union, your mother explains, is part of God's plan for marriage. It is not shameful, but sacred, a blessing, a gift, to be received with gratitude. The sanctity, you understand, is crucial. The physical joining, not separate from the spiritual, but part of it, blessed, holy, a reflection of the divine love that creates and sustains all life. The couple, your mother continues, learns together, discovers together, grows together. The darkness provides the perfect environment for this learning, this discovery, this growth. The learning process, you realize, is gradual, patient, filled with tenderness and care. The darkness, allowing mistakes, providing comfort, creating a safe space for the development of intimacy. Sometimes, your mother admits, the wedding night is difficult. The bride may be in pain. The groom may be clumsy, inexperienced. The darkness hides these difficulties, allows the couple to work through them together. The reality, you understand, is that perfection is not expected. The darkness, providing mercy, forgiveness, the chance to try again, to learn, to grow, without judgment or shame. The morning after, your mother says, brings light, revelation, the beginning of daily married life. But the darkness of the wedding night remains special, sacred, a memory to be treasured. The transition, you realize, is important. From the sacred darkness of the wedding night to the ordinary light of daily life, the darkness becoming a memory, a blessing, a foundation for the marriage. The couple, your mother continues, learns to appreciate both light and darkness, both the public life of community and the private life of marriage. The darkness teaches them about intimacy, about privacy, about the sacred spaces within marriage. The balance, you understand, is crucial. The public life of community and responsibility, and the private life of intimacy and love. The darkness providing training, preparation for the private moments that sustain marriage. In the weeks that follow, your mother explains, the couple continues to learn, to grow, to discover each other. The darkness continues to provide refuge, privacy, intimacy, away from the watchful eyes of the community. The ongoing importance, you realize, of private spaces, of intimate moments, of the darkness that provides refuge from the demands of daily life. The wedding night, not an ending, but a beginning of lifelong intimacy. The hope, your mother says, is that from this union, this sacred darkness, new life will come. Children, to bless the marriage, to continue the family, to bring joy and purpose to the couple's life. The ultimate purpose, you understand, is creation, the bringing forth of new life, the continuation of the family, the community, the human story. The darkness providing the perfect environment for this sacred process. The village, your mother continues, waits and watches and hopes. The couple's happiness, their success, their children, all become part of the community's joy, the community's future. The communal investment, you realize, is complete. The village, having participated in the courtship, the negotiations, the wedding, now waits for the fruits of the marriage, the children who will continue the story. The darkness, your mother concludes, is not the end, but the beginning of marriage, of family, of new life, of hope for the future. The night has deepened, and through the window, you can see the village settling into sleep. Candles being extinguished, families gathering for evening prayers, the world wrapping itself in the gentle darkness of rest and peace. Your mother rises, beginning to clear the simple evening meal. The candlelight flickers gently, casting dancing shadows on the cottage walls. The darkness outside seems welcoming, protective, full of possibility. Rest now, your mother says softly. Let these thoughts of sacred darkness bring you peace. The wedding night, with all its mystery, its beauty, its sacred purpose, is part of God's plan for human love, for human happiness. You close your eyes, feeling the comfort of the darkening cottage, the warmth of the dying fire, the gentle sounds of evening. The wedding night, with all its sacred darkness, seems like a blessing, a gift, a promise of love and intimacy. Your breathing grows deeper, slower, as you imagine the countless couples who have shared this sacred darkness. Their love, their hopes, their children, all beginning in the gentle, protective blessing of the wedding night. The village sounds fade to whispers. The candles burn lower. The darkness deepens and softens. The wedding night, with all its sacred mystery, seems like a lullaby, ancient and comforting, guiding you toward dreams of love and peace. Your eyelids grow heavy, and the darkness seems to wrap around you like a soft blanket, warm and protective. You drift into the deepest, most restful sleep, carried by the gentle rhythms of love, of marriage, of the eternal cycle of human hope and blessing. The night breeze whispers through the cottage walls, soft and gentle, carrying the scent of wood smoke and herbs and the eternal promise of new beginnings. You sleep deeply, peacefully, blessed by the sacred darkness that holds all of life's most precious moments. You wake to the gentle sound of roosters calling across the village, their voices announcing the dawn of a new day, a new season, a new beginning. The spring air carries the scent of apple blossoms and fresh earth, and the promise of growth, renewal, hope. Your mother moves quietly below, preparing the morning meal. But today, her movements are different, more purposeful, more joyful. Through the cottage walls, you can hear the sound of construction, the gentle tapping of hammers, the soft scraping of wood. As new homes are built, new lives begun. Today, you will learn about the first year of marriage, the gentle unfolding of two lives becoming one, the careful building of home, of family, of future, the challenges, the joys, the sacred work of creating a new household, blessed by God, supported by community. You dress slowly in your finest kirtle, the one your mother finished last week, dyed with madder root, creating a warm, rose-colored fabric, soft as morning light. The embroidery worked in silk thread, depicts vines and flowers, symbols of growth, of fertility, of hope. Downstairs, your mother has prepared a special breakfast, fresh bread with butter, eggs from the hens, small beer sweetened with honey. The wooden bowls, polished to a warm glow, reflect the morning light streaming through the cottage windows. "Good morning, child," your mother says, her voice warm with anticipation. Today, we speak of the first year, the sacred time, when newlyweds learn to be husband and wife, learn to build their life together. You sit beside her, feeling the familiar comfort of the wooden bench, worn smooth by generations of family conversations. Through the window, you can see the baker's daughter, now the blacksmith's wife, walking carefully, her hand resting on her gently rounded belly. The first fruits of her marriage, already blessing her. The first year, your mother begins, is both the most difficult and the most precious time in a marriage. Everything is new, uncertain, requiring patience, understanding, and great love. The truth, you understand, is that marriage, despite all the careful preparation, all the wise counsel, all the family support, is still a mystery, a journey requiring faith and courage and daily commitment. The newlyweds, your mother continues, must learn to share everything. Their space, their time, their resources, their dreams. This learning is not always easy, but it is always sacred. Through the window, you watch the young couple, the weaver's son and the miller's daughter, walking together, their steps synchronized, their voices soft, as they discuss the day's work, the eternal negotiation of shared life. The household, your mother explains, must be established, organized, blessed. The bride brings her dowry, her skills, her traditions. The groom provides the home, the structure, the means of support. The blending, you realize, is complex, delicate, requiring wisdom, patience, and compromise. Two ways of life, two sets of traditions, two personalities, slowly becoming one, unified, harmonious. The bride, your mother continues, must learn her husband's family ways, their customs, their expectations. She must earn her place, prove her worth, demonstrate her skills. The challenge, you understand, is significant. The young wife, leaving everything familiar, must adapt, adjust, find her place in a new family, a new home, a new role. The pressure, the loneliness, the uncertainty, all part of the journey. The mother-in-law, your mother says, plays a crucial role. She must teach, guide, support the new bride. But she must also step back, allow the young couple to find their own way. The delicate balance, you realize, requires wisdom, maturity, love. The older woman sharing her knowledge, her experience, her home, while gradually, gracefully passing authority to the younger generation. The husband, your mother explains, must learn to be provider, protector, companion. He must balance his loyalty to his birth family with his new responsibilities to his wife. The man's challenge, you understand, is equally difficult. The need to establish his own household, his own authority, while maintaining respect for his parents, his traditions, his community obligations. The seasons, your mother continues, guide the first year, each bringing different challenges, different joys, different lessons. You imagine the young couple working together through spring planting, summer harvest, autumn preparation, winter planning. Each season teaching them about cooperation, about planning, about the rhythms of married life. Spring, your mother says, brings hope, new growth, the first shared planting. The couple works together in the garden, planning, sowing, dreaming of the harvest to come. The image fills your mind, the young husband turning the soil, the young wife planting seeds, their hands dirty but happy, their faces bright with hope, their future growing, row by row, day by day. Summer, your mother continues, brings the first real test, the long days, the hard work, the sweat and toil of maintaining a household together. The summer work, you understand, is exhausting, demanding, requiring cooperation, endurance, mutual support. The couple learning to work as a team, to support each other through difficulty, through fatigue, through stress. The harvest, your mother explains, brings the first real celebration, the first shared success, the first proof that their union is blessed, productive, fruitful. The joy you can imagine of the first successful harvest. The couple, standing together, looking at the fruits of their labor, their cooperation, their love, the validation, the confidence, the hope for the future. Autumn, your mother says, brings preparation, planning, the careful storing of resources for the winter ahead. The couple learns to plan, to save, to prepare together. The practical lessons you realize are crucial. The management of resources, the planning for lean times, the careful balance between present needs and future security, all requiring wisdom, cooperation, trust. Winter, your mother continues, brings the first real intimacy, the long evenings, by the fire, the quiet conversations, the deep sharing of hopes, the winter intimacy. You understand is precious, sacred, the time when couples truly learn to know each other, to understand each other's hearts, each other's souls, each other's deepest selves. The first quarrel, your mother admits, is inevitable, natural, part of the learning process. Two people learning to live together will disagree, will misunderstand, will hurt each other. The reality you realize is that conflict is normal, expected, part of the growth process. The important thing is learning to resolve disagreements, to forgive, to move forward together. The resolution, your mother explains, is more important than the quarrel itself. The couple must learn to apologize, to forgive, to compromise, to find solutions that honor both their needs, their feelings. The skills you understand are learned, practiced over time. The ability to communicate, to negotiate, to resolve conflict peacefully, lovingly, constructively, essential for a happy marriage. The village, your mother continues, watches, supports, offers guidance when needed. The community has invested in this marriage and wants to see it succeed. The support system, you realize, is crucial. The neighbors, the extended family, the church, all providing encouragement, advice, practical help when the young couple faces challenges, difficulties, uncertainties. The first pregnancy, your mother says, often comes within the first year, bringing joy, but also new challenges, new responsibilities, new fears. The possibility, you understand, is always present, hoped for, prayed for, but also there. slightly frightening. The young wife facing the mysteries, the dangers, the joys of childbirth, motherhood, new life. The husband, your mother explains, must learn to be supportive, protective, understanding as his wife changes, grows, prepares for motherhood. The man's role, you realize, becomes more complex, more demanding, requiring sensitivity, patience, strength, as he prepares to become not just husband, but father, provider, protector of new life. The preparations, your mother continues, begin immediately. The gathering of baby clothes, the preparing of the cradle, the saving of resources for the birth and beyond. The practical work, you understand, is extensive, requiring planning, saving, preparing for the costs, the needs, the challenges of raising a child in a medieval village. The women, your mother says, rally around the young mother, offering advice, support, practical help, sharing their experience, their wisdom, their love. The sisterhood, you realize, is powerful, essential. The network of women supporting women through the challenges, the joys, the mysteries of pregnancy, childbirth, motherhood. The birth, your mother continues, when it comes, is attended by the village women, the midwife, the mother-in-law, all working together to ensure a safe delivery, a healthy baby. The communal nature, you understand, of birth makes it less frightening, less lonely, surrounded by experienced women, wise hands, loving hearts, ancient knowledge passed down through generations. The first child, your mother says, transforms the marriage, makes it complete, fruitful, blessed. The couple becomes a family, their union producing new life, new hope, new future. The transformation, you realize, is profound, sacred, the ultimate purpose of marriage fulfilled, the creation of new life, the continuation of the human story, the blessing of generations. The church, your mother continues, blesses the new family, baptizes the child, welcomes the new member into the Christian community, the village family, the eternal communion of believers. The spiritual dimension, you understand, is crucial. The child, or not just into a family, but into a community, the faith, tradition that will guide, protect, nurture throughout life. The first anniversary, your mother says, is marked quietly, privately, with gratitude for the years survived, the lessons learned, the love deepened, the foundation laid. The celebration, you imagine, is simple, meaningful, the couple reflecting on the year behind them, the challenges overcome, the joys shared, the future opening before them. The second year, your mother continues, brings new challenges, new joys, but also new confidence, new skills, new understanding of what it means to be married, to be family, to be one. The progression, you realize, is natural, gradual. The young couple growing, maturing, learning, becoming more comfortable, more confident, more loving in their roles as husband, wife, parents, community members. The village, your mother concludes, celebrates each successful marriage, each new family, each new child as a victory, a blessing, a sign that life continues, that hope endures, that love prevails. The communal joy, you understand, is genuine, heartfelt. The entire village invested in the success of each marriage, Each family, each new beginning, knowing that their future depends on the strength of these bonds. The morning light grows stronger, warming the cottage walls, illuminating the village, awakening to another day of work, of love, of hope. The sounds of daily life drift through the windows, the eternal rhythm of human existence, continuing, unchanged, blessed. Your mother rises, beginning to clear the morning meal, her movements graceful, purposeful, filled with the wisdom of her own first year, her own marriage journey, her own lessons learned and love discovered. Rest now, she says softly. Let these thoughts of new beginnings bring you peace. The first year of marriage, with all its challenges, its joys, its sacred work, is part of God's plan for human happiness, for human love, for human hope.